In the early days, because I started this business when I was 19 years old. So the early days objection for me was usually to do with my age. I was, fortunate I had some sideburns, looked a little bit older, maybe just because being half Middle Eastern, people really couldn't place how old I was. But I would say when I was 19, I might have looked 24, 25, which is still really young for a real estate agent. And so that lack of experience, that lack of gray hair, that lack of no wrinkles yet, that was probably the biggest objection that I had was like, well, what do you know, kid? For me, the saving grace, of course, was that I was a property owner as well as an investor, and I had renovation projects and real world experience that I could speak to in order to get credibility back right away. So I would use that and lean on that quite a bit. But I remember in the earliest days when I had nothing else going on other than the fact that I was young, I quickly learned to reframe my youth as an advantage to the client, right? And they'd say, well, you're young, man. Didn't you just graduate high school? I mean, I think I might have to go with somebody a little bit more experienced, or I've met with someone else, I've been doing this longer. And I would say to them, look, I get it. I understand how you might have got there. I can tell you this, one day, if everything goes well, hopefully I'm in the same position as that agent you referenced, and I've got 30 or 40 listings. And then it won't matter so much whether or not any of those listings particularly sells, because I've got enough and I've got an abundance. But that's not currently where I am. Where I am right now is I have 0 listings. And I'm willing to work 80 hours a week because I'm young and I have energy. But I also like food with my meals. So isn't it comforting for you to know that if I want to eat next month, I have to sell your listing? That would be the guy I would want selling my property, not somebody who's high on the hog that has 30 or 40 listings where 3 or 4 of them will fall off a log each month. I want the guy who's hungry, who needs to sell my listing if he wants to eat. I don't know. Does that make sense to you? And they would always say, yeah, it does. I say, well, look, give me a chance. You can fire me at any time. If you don't think that I'm living up to the expectations that I've set, or you don't feel like I'm earning my keep, you can fire me. All I'm asking for is a chance. And I would get it every time. So if you're young, if you're new to the business, reframe your lack of experience, your lack of inventory as an advantage to the client, and just let them know that they can pun you at any time if they don't think that you're pulling your weight. You'll be surprised how often that works. People like a good underdog story. People like to give a kid a chance. So don't be afraid to use it. It's effective.